Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Comic Quest Prologue. I'm your host, Joey the JAG, as I continue my quest of, going from an amateur artist to a professional artist. I have been doing videos for the upcoming Webtoon 2025 contest competition for Comics Legends, or it's called Webcomics Legends. And so, in preparation for that, and for all those out there trying to find more information on what they can use to prepare themselves for this comic, I wanted to do a sort of review on some of the Webtoon comics that have entered the so far contests and through contests have made an impact. And these names are actually in the the questions section of the Webtoon Comics Legends or Comics Legends page, where you can go and check it out yourself and see which comics they were referring to. That is what I'm going to be doing. And I feel like in preparing and kind of getting into the idea of what made these comics impactful in the contests, and whether they won or didn't win the actual Webtoon contests, right? The idea of winning contests and that you can maybe got second place or third place, but the purpose of the contest is to give you an idea what you can do and what others can do, right? And this will be information of popular comics on Webtoon that have made it through contests. And so I am doing reviews on all of these Webtoon comics for this particular contest that were referenced in the fact questions of the Webtoon contest competitions that have made impacts through contests. So the first Webtoon comic I will be doing is Unordinary by Uru-chan. So please leave a like on the video and subscribe for more awesome content, and also share this video with those that have not really read this comic or want to look into webtoons or want to get into the competition because maybe they have an idea or a story they want to tell, things like that. So by all means, please do that. So let's get into the actual review. So Unordinary, again by Uru-chan, it has 1.3 billion views. Okay, it has 6.1 million subscribers and 9.73 star ratings. So, it also has 2,520 super likes. And to top it all off, the genre of this particular Webtoon comic is superhero. Now, although the contest that is being done in 2025 there's no superhero genre, but you can get an idea of what this superhero in a sort of way gives to the contest itself. So basically, as I was reading it and getting into the actual comic, because I did read the chapters in order to do this review justice, and basically the comic, okay, for those who needed it, basically Unordinary did not win a Webtoon contest per se. Okay, it was a finalist for a superhero contest, which one of them, in partnership with Stan Lee, won. So that was interesting. And the idea of, I don't know why Webtoon put this in here if it didn't win a Webtoon contest, but the understanding of the popularity of this Webtoon comic, I can understand why they put it into the contest category because it did win a contest and it is a webtoon original comic, so why not put it in there? But the idea that this was won through a webtoon contest, and that's why it's up there, is sort of false, but not really, because it did win a superhero contest, right? Which is why they put it in there. It makes sense for webtoon to put that because it is popular and it did enter a contest. But if you're trying to look up, oh, it won a webtoon contest, it didn't win a webtoon contest. It just won a contest overall. So I would do my best to give you an idea without spoiling too much of the comic. If you want to go over to Webtoons and check the comic out yourself, you can. I don't want to spoil it for those that are new to it and want to check it out. But I'm going to give you an idea of Ordinary itself. So basically, unOrdinary it is a world, okay, where supernatural abilities dictate social hierarchy. So there are people with stronger powers, that dominate those with weaker ones. Basically, creating a highly stratified society. Okay, so at the center is Wellstone High School. This school is a microcosm of this system where students use their abilities to assert dominance. Okay, hopefully I didn't lose you in explaining that. Okay, now the protagonist, we're just going to refer to him as John, okay, appears to be an ordinary student with no powers. But despite his lack of abilities, John has this confidence and aversion to violence, which sets him apart from the others. Okay, this makes him both an outcast and a mystery. It's very interesting. Okay, he has this friendship with this very powerful, charismatic female ability user. Her name is Serafina. Okay, she becomes a key focus early on, challenging the status quo and introducing questions about the fairness of this ability-based society. Right, she is the top of the class. He starts gaining some attention and shine and approval. And this sort of clashes with her in the beginning, but eventually she still becomes like this stern type of character, okay? With her abilities, you'll find out that her abilities, she has this like freeze time, reverse time type of power. But she's really very, very kind of scary. Her demeanor just has this rough, edgy. She could be a little nice, but she's very icy, if you know, like very frozen. Like if the Ice Queen was a character, that will be it. Like a frozen heart, but she does have some type of justice of things that she will soon find out. But her story is really interesting because she does have this heart of ice type of identity, which makes her a very powerful character, but very scary. She's very intimidating, okay? An intimidating force to reckon with. You don't want to mess with this character, okay? So it's interesting that the friendship sort of blossoms, but not really. It's basically it's like a rivalry between them, but there's other characters who I won't name because you'll figure out them in the story as you understand the story once you read it. So basically, as the comic delves deep into the story, Wellstone High's power dynamics, it starts showcasing the rigid hierarchy enforced by the school's top tier students. Okay, this is like like a club. Okay, and this club of powered characters, they're called the Royals. All right, so Seraphina's position as the school's strongest student begins to get explored, along with the responsibilities and challenges that come with power. So, but John's disdain for the system leads to moments of tension with others, revealing cracks in his calm persona. So he's hiding something, right? He's trying to be this like weak, very scared person, but it starts to show as the story progresses that there is something menacing about him, that he's not afraid to unleash some dark power that let's just say let me give you a hint. Okay, Wolverine has this ability known as Berserk, and Wolverine in Marvel or MCU, right? Wolverine has this power. So if you played any Capcom versus Marvel game or something like that, and you use Berserk, right? Your opponent is going to be thrashed, okay? This violence just escalates, right? So John has a similar sort of berserk type sort of thing, okay? And you start to see that he loves when he goes into this mode, and it becomes very scary, terrifying, but he does it in a way to try and bring about a sense of justice in it, but it goes in a different way because based on the system itself, he is basically the villain in a way. He's basically the villain, not trying to be, let me say anti-villain, okay? Because he's going against the school system. And some of the students in the school system, they're not all bad. Some of them are good, but he's going against all of the rankings and hierarchy of the established order. Okay, but through him, the webtoon begins questioning the morality of a society built on oppression. Okay, so it sets the stage for larger revelations about John's past and the secrets he's hiding. As the story progresses, hints about John's past start to surface. Without giving away too much, okay? It starts examining how trauma and betrayal shape his worldview. At the same time, you get a mysterious figure that starts challenging the established order by taking down powerful students. So you have this masked character going around and beating the top powerful students you can imagine in the story. And before the story gets to this point, all the characters that you see in the story, you see their powers and what they can do, and you're like, dude, no way can anyone take this person on. They're really powerful. And so when this masked character arrives and starts challenging and defeating these powerful characters, it starts getting into where is this character coming from? And you start realizing it's not just the school itself, but the entire world itself that starts becoming sort of there's not just the school, it's the outside world too. Okay. So you start seeing this worldview, okay, and this mysterious figure starts giving light to that, okay, and it starts going into a shift in Wellston's fragile balance. Okay, the tension between John's outward persona and his hidden truths escalates, creating a sense of unease and anticipation. You get stuff like themes of justice. You have revenge. You also have a personal responsibility that comes to like the forefront of the story. And so Serafina, on the other side, faces her own struggles as she confronts the darker sides of Wellstone's hierarchy and the larger system that perpetuates it. She begins to find a sort of a chain of events that go from beyond the school to other secret organizations that are happening without the knowledge of not just the school, but the outside world itself. So, uh, you start to see that. And you start seeing her character's resilience and her evolving relationship with John because she begins to get a little bit warmy, and her heart starts becoming unfrozen in a way, but she's still icy. But there is a change in her heart that she starts realizing there's something corrupt and weird in the system. Why is it this way? And she starts figuring things out. It also highlights the role of external forces, such as the school authorities, right? And you have a mysterious organizations as well, and you have this larger conspiracy that is hinted in the story. The stakes grow higher as both John and Serafina are pushed to their limits, with their ideals and friendship tested in increasingly dramatic ways. So you have, as the story progresses, you have the consequences of unchecked power and the moral dilemmas that arise from it. As the school's fragile hierarchy begins to crumble, it starts just falling apart. And as the school starts falling apart, John's role in this upheaval takes center stage. His actions actually lead to significant consequences for himself and others. Because even though he's going against the system is based off of an outside source. I won't say what source, organization, but because he's going against the school itself is falling apart, and the system pulling the strings begins to be revealed. And so this whole time he's been trying to take down the school system. Turns out John's taking down not just the school system, but the world system itself. These like people that have been pulling the strings with power for a very long time. Okay, and so as the school's fragile, our hierarchy begins to crumble. I know I said that, but John's role in all this, okay, for himself and the others, starts raising questions about what it means to lead and protect. Remember, this is supposed to be a superhero genre, but it's acting like villains. They're like not heroes, really. They're kind of trying to figure out what justice is about and what it means to be justice. And in a way, it's relatable. It's actually grounded, even though it has like that fantasy superhero type vibe. It makes sense. It's relatable because when you see superheroes, right, you sort of understand the idea that a superhero is there to lead and protect, like it says here. But in this webcomic, the reason why it just kind of just sort of did an upside down worldview on the superhero genre, you can understand why it's so popular, right? And so the popularity of this comic, okay, the webtoon itself explores how power can corrupt even the most intentioned individuals and whether redemption is possible. Okay, it has intense and emotionally charged moments with major turning points for several key characters. All right, so as the focus goes back, okay, to the broader world outside Wellstone, it's revealing that societal implication of the events at the school. Okay, the story touches on themes of rebellion, reform, and the potential for change in a flawed system. So this system is flawed, and you start to understand that both John and Serafina's journeys intertwine as they grapple with their roles in shaping the future. They start to actually find out that, let's just say, parents, sort of parents, and even the book, there is a book that in universe is found by a character. I won't say who or what it is, but there's a book. In this book, you have like this diary of a father or his father about, saving the world, let's just say, and that he sacrificed himself to give power to those that were weak, because in a world of cripples, basically, he gave them something in return to heal them, to help them grow, and basically he brought about peace. And through his actions and sacrifice, he made the world a better place. But interesting enough, it has so much tension between maintaining the status quo and fighting for a better world. The webtoon leaves readers with thought-provoking questions about power, privilege, and equality. It's such an interesting and engaging story, and it makes sense why it won the superhero contest and why it's in webtoons, because of the actual contract agreement that when they enter the contest, right? It actually won a finalist. So it was the finalist. So it didn't really say that it was the top winner, but it was maybe top 3. It doesn't really say, okay? But finalists. And then through the finalist, winning the finalist, Stan Lee, okay, through Stan Lee, they made a deal to make the comic a certain way, okay, through that. And then they released it on Webtoons, and it became a hit. So that is why it's on Webtoons. So the reason why it's on Webtoons is thanks to Stan Lee. The man behind the Marvel comics, such as Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and more. Having Stan the Man Lee and Uru-chan working together to make this comic and put it on Webtoons, and it becomes a hit, was thanks to the contest, superhero contest, that was made, okay? Again, it didn't win, meaning you don't have to win this Webtoon contest, the 2025 Webtoon contest, Webcomics Legends, to get an impact. You just have to make the comic as best you can, put it out there, and see how it blossoms and becomes great, okay? So that's pretty much it. I mean, for the review on that. I can give you more insight on that, but I wanted to give you just a quick review on it as best I can. I knew I've talked a lot, but I have other Webtoon comics to check out and read and do reviews on. So look forward to more of those as I prepare as well on the upcoming Webtoon 2025 contests, Webcomics Legends. One key thing I learned from reading this Webtoon comic was understanding how Webtoon works and using the format that Uru-chan made to make this comic made sense. So if you want to learn how to do a great Webtoon comic and be able to deliver, then check this comic out so you can see the panelings, the descriptions, the words, in order for you to understand how you can make your own Webtoon comic yourself. I give this Webtoon comic a 3 out of 5. The reason why I give it a 3 is because even though it says superhero genre, there are some points in the story that I feel falls into more fantasy and epic, and also more comedy and slice of life. So if you're looking into this, trying to understand like the comedy slice of life genre, good luck with that, because this actually has different genres rolled into one. It does have thriller in there, and there is some horror elements in it. Not like super horror, but mystery, right? It also has some fantasy. Also has some comedy in it. So it's a mixed bag of so many things rolled up to one genre, and they call it superhero, right? So that's the thing. That's the thing why it's three, because it's not epic fantasy. It's not thrills or anything. It's superhero genre, and when you click on it, you find out this is just one of many superhero webtoon comics, and this is the one that they chose for this particular one. And as I'm reading through it, and I started checking out other superhero comics, I started realizing that this actual webtoon comic has a mixed bag of different genres rolled into one, whereas the other ones that are very, very popular are their own genre, comedy or epic fantasy, things like that. And you see it. So I'm giving it a 3 out of 5, just because in my research, it's not helping me understand genres, understanding certain things in the way the comic is being portrayed as a genre, because genre is really important, especially for the the demographic of people you want to read your comic. And if you put it in the wrong genre, and the people that are looking for thrillers, for example, you put in this comic, right? It's like, they just put in superhero, and it has thriller on there, or it has mystery on there. So that's the only negative about it. Why it went down to 3 out of 5, and the reason why that it didn't get a 4 is because of the ability not to be able to give me a satisfying conclusion to the story. Uh, it sort of gives you like just a thought process, and although some people might like that, I feel like you're left dry high up with no value of like this whole story you've been going through, and you don't get really a true satisfying let's just say conclusion that results in something that is worth going through in a sense. So that's why it didn't get that 4 as well. Other than that, the story was good, the characters were interesting, the webcomic was engaging, but yeah, it's a long webtoon comic, a lot of episodes, a lot of tokens and coins. If you want to really get into that kind of comic, so I just wanted to give you guys just a little bit more of my review, and that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching this. I really appreciate it. I hope you're all having a great day. Happy holidays to all those out there. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.